Hey everyone, welcome to the Buttery Show where we do a lot of movie reviews. And with me are the two bros that love this movie more than anyone I could possibly imagine. We got our bannerman himself, the master of the 90s, Mr. Cody Blythe, aka Cody's House of Geek. Cody, how are you doing?
I am doing good. We're going to be talking about one of the most beloved and most hated movies since 1993.
and of course we got our special guest Miguel Gama, aka that blue dinosaur guy. Miguel, how are you doing?
I'm doing super because we're watching the Super Mario Brothers movie.
I'm super. Thanks for asking, though.
I saw the South Park movie kid.
And of course I'm Mike, and this is the penultimate episode of our video game movie month. And yes, this movie was especially requested by Cody Blythe right here. And you know, when the guy who makes your banners makes a request, you don't say no to that. You don't bite off the hand that feeds you. But it's actually very appropriate because not only is the new Super Mario Brothers movie the final movie in our saga this month, but also it is this movie, Super Mario Bros.
30th anniversary.
Yes, it is not only the very first video game movie of all time, but also it is the 30th anniversary. More accurately, May 20-something was the anniversary of this movie. 30 years, man. 30 years.
Do you want to know what's amazing about this movie and the fact that the production of this movie had two people involved? They wanted to do something so dystopian and so different for this movie that it first off, the reason why I like it is because it stands out like a lot. For a movie about Mario, it just has this interesting look. And the people who made Max Headroom did this movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yo, I was a huge fan of Max Headroom, and
well, give it away, Mike. Was it the fact that Koopa looked like Max Headroom?
Now that I think about it, yeah, that now that I feel dumb now that I didn't even notice it.
And the fun fact is, yep, Eminem would pay tribute to that in his Rap God music video.
Yeah, I love that Eminem did Rap God with one thing I actually really appreciate is not only is the Max Headroom movie 20 minutes into the future was such a phenomenal film, which we should review at some point, but I also love how Max Headroom had his own talk show, and the lead actress and the first person he ever interviewed was the lead actress from Earth Girls Are Easy, which featured Jim Carrey in that movie. Yeah, and of course the wonderful Jeff Goldblum as well. So we should actually review that movie as well. But yeah, no, it's like, and of course there's that Doctor Who episode that we will not talk about.
Okay, so the Super Mario Brothers movie, one of the it's one of the movies ever.
First of its kind.
I would say that this movie really kind of set in stone for what we would expect not to do with a video game movie. But this movie has gained a very big cult following over the years. In 30 years, it has gotten so much admiration through people who just really appreciate the art of it, I guess. And even though there was a lot of pain involved to make this movie. But it stars Bob Hoskins as Mario and, I'm sorry, Mike, John Leguizamo as Luigi. And also Dennis Hopper as Dennis Hopper as King Koopa, not Bowser, but King Koopa. Yeah. And also Samantha Mathis as Princess Daisy. One of the things that I really was confused by with this movie is also the fact that they went with Daisy before they went with Princess Peach.
Yeah. I mean, like, if they really wanted to go with their like older roots, they could have even went with Paulina.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But this movie came out how far after the video games? What, like 8
years? The original Super Mario came out in 1985.
So 8 years.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and by the way, Super Mario Bros. Was the NES game was actually the very first video game I've ever owned ever, and it took me a while to figure out that A means jump. So.
No,
but after I figured that out, I got to 8-1 very quickly.
So the reason why I mostly wanted to talk about this movie today is because I actually managed to get a Blu-ray copy of this movie. It is a region-free copy of the movie, and it includes something on here that I really wanted to discuss. It was a work print cut of the movie that has like 30 to 40 minutes of unseen footage. And I really just kind of wanted to discuss this. First off, it doesn't change anything. The movie is still lovable trash.
Yeah.
But like, there are things in the movie I feel like could have helped. This doesn't help at all, but it had Iggy and Spike doing a rap in the Boom Boom Club.
That was pretty funny.
There was some more Yoshi footage, of course. There was more footage of Mario and Luigi actually on the job, meeting with the Scapelli brothers, and kind of similar to what you experienced in the new animated movie, where they're trying to compete with the other plumbers and stuff like that. So there's definitely a lot of different things in there. Lost footage that was in the work print they actually put in this Blu-ray release. And it was just a really interesting cut of the movie because you see so much more kind of dragged out, and it does not make the movie better. But I just wanted to bring up that there is such a huge following for this movie. There's actually a website called the Super Mario Brothers Archive that takes everything that you want to know about this movie, production, post-production, anything that you want to know, it's on there. So.
Yep. There's also a video game museum in Texas that has a bunch of memorabilia of the movie, like over there.
Really? They have the Stomper boots?
Yep, they have the Swamp Stompers. they have like all the 7-Eleven promotional stuff.
A lot of Mario Brothers movies promotional stuff is actually super rare now. Like I've never actually been able to go in looking for some of the toys, the Erdl toys that they did. Those are rare. They had made a playset for the Devo chamber and one of the police cars. Those are rare toys. You can't find them anymore. But yeah, like I feel like this movie has just kind of like existed in like this like weird like zeitgeist of like nerd culture where we just we talk about it like almost like it's a revered movie, but it's also like it's so hated by a specific group of people. I feel like there's more love for it than there is hate nowadays. What do you guys think about that?
I like to think of it like as a pocket dimension, just like how like the actual movie takes place in a pocket dimension.
Yeah.
It's like, let's make a pocket dimension where it's like one giant man cave dedicated to this movie, and then like everyone who's in the know could just like phase through a wall and just like hang out and talk about like Bob Hoskins and Dennis Hopper and how like they got Thanos snapped before Thanos snapping was even a thing.
Oh my god. Mm-hmm. This movie has definitely this is at a time when movies were experimented on so much. Like the idea of doing a movie based on a video game or a cartoon, they were always experimental. And one of the things that I remember about this movie was the fact that, of course, behind the scenes, apparently the filming process of it was just absolutely horrid. Bob Hoskins said it's the worst thing he's ever done. He worked on this movie. He had to get drunk to finish making the movie.
Wow, so what you're saying is it was even worse than The Island of Dr. Moreau.
Maybe I don't know. It really depends on your group of people when you put the two movies together and put it in front of them. I guess.
I mean, the book was actually really good, and they tried to make a film adaptation of it, and things went and just spiraled to being even worse and worse. And I think some people even died from heat strokes from that movie or something like that. I can't remember all the details, but it's like just things just spiraled. There was diva behavior. I'm like, yo, like.
Oh yeah, a lot of movies had really trouble production. I mean, the fact that Van Damme was hopped up on coke during the filming of Street Fighter.
Yeah.
I do want to bring up something real quick because I do see the chat. There is nothing salty. Guys, I'm not being salty. I actually enjoy this movie. I'm buying merchandise from it. I got the soundtrack. I got the movie on Blu-ray. I have a giant.
There you go.
I had a movie night with my friends the other night watching this movie, and I enjoyed every minute of it. There is nothing salty about this. The reality is that this movie isn't good. It's like watching Tommy Wiseau's The Room. You know it's shit, but it's entertaining.
But we still go to the movie theater on a monthly basis. Pay a $20 ticket, at least like it was $20 back in 2014. I don't know how much they cost right now, to watch it in a movie theater in a tuxedo, throwing spoons around, and doing.
It's one of those still bad good films.
You like honestly like in some of my earlier college years, the most cardio I would get done is literally doing laps around the movie theater in a tuxedo during the running scene.
Yeah.
Just first off, so what do you guys remember most? Well, your first time watching this movie? I want to say this. I watched the movie a little later in life. I watched it my first time. It aired on the Disney Channel, like in the late 90s.
Really?
Yes, because what was the company? The parent company, I believe, might have been like it was an MGM or something like that. I can't remember who owned, not MGM. Who's the company that does the parent company for Disney? They did like other movies like Adventures in Babysitting and stuff like that. I should have done my research.
This is basically done by Hollywood Pictures, which is an offshoot of Touchstone, which is also owned by Disney.
That's what I meant. Touchstone is the one that the parent company did, Hollywood Pictures. Disney actually technically owns this movie.
The only thing I'll ever remember Hollywood Pictures for is being the company that made that movie where Charlie Sheen is like trying to drive to Tijuana to escape from the police.
Are you sure this wasn't just real life footage of Charlie Sheen? It's like he pretends to like hold his heiress at gunpoint like from behind, but it was actually like a Butterfinger bar, which by the way, great marketing for Butterfinger. I stand by what I said. Are you sure this was not just Charlie Sheen?
At the time, probably not, but now I'm pretty sure it is. And what's funny is that like I didn't even like at the end of the movie, I didn't even recognize him in the mustache that he has at the end of the movie. So I'm like, what happened to Charlie Sheen? Who's this guy?
Well,
keep in mind, this was when I was young enough to think that Zarbon was just Bulma in green skin. Because they both have blue hair.
So just to kind of get back to, so when was the first time you guys watched the movie? Like, what was your expectations? What were you feeling about a live-action Mario movie and the first time watching it?
Miguel, you want to go first?
I actually saw it when it came out in theaters. Yeah, I was at a drive-in in like Phoenix with my parents and watched the movie. I mean, young 8-year-old me like didn't really like actually enjoy the movie at first. I mean, despite how like campy and stupid it was, and now like looking back at it, I can acknowledge yes, it was a complete train wreck, but it was an enjoyable train wreck.
I mean, that's how I would describe it. Yes, it's a lovable train wreck.
Yeah, for me, this is really embarrassing, but I'll say it anyways. Okay, so I was a huge fan of the video game on the NES. Like my uncle worked for like Nintendo America, so like he was able to get me a copy of an NES system, and it feels weird saying NES system because the letter S stands for system.
This is like saying Gouda cheese or
not Gouda cheese, or like ATM machine, yeah.
Queso cheese.
Yeah.
Queso already is cheese. Queso meat.
LED
cheese.
LED light emitting diode light.
Yeah. So I was a huge fan of like playing the actual game, and I kept like trying to get as far as I possibly can because it took me a while to actually beat the game in its entirety. But then back in the day, like we had these like brown boxes that would have like illegal cable and stuff. Like back then, like everyone had those, so like you can't incriminate me
in the Mario Brothers movie.
So it's like So it's like in these brown boxes, they only have like 3 buttons on them: channel up, channel down, on, off. And like you could just like cycle through 99 channels, and like that would be the only way you could watch like USA, TNT, Cartoon Network, stuff like that. But there was also the pay-per-view channel where on occasionally we would have, free illegal pay-per-view. And keep in mind, this is the 90s, back when all Soviet immigrants had bootleg pay-per-view. So like, lay off me, Johnny Five-O. But yeah, so like, but no, like I'm legit now. Keep in mind, I'm legit now. But there was like one point where like, they started showing the Mario Brothers movie. So look, I never saw it in theaters. I watched it on, but and like at first, like it looked cool because you got like footage of like the game. And I'm like, I don't know what to expect. It's like, oh, you got dinosaurs, and then like you got some nuns with an egg. Oh my god, a baby came out
Nuns
of
with
an
an
egg.
egg. All right, let's do it.
And then all of a sudden, it's like you got these live action old dudes, and I'm like, wait, what's going on now?
So, like, okay, so the thing is, when it comes to the Mario Brothers movie, most people always sit there and say something that really kind of upsets me a little bit. I'm not going to sit there and like judge people for it, but they say that the movie rips off some elements of Jurassic Park. Guys, did you guys know that this movie came out literally a week before Jurassic Park? Almost exactly.
Yeah.
Before anyone saw Jurassic Park, that image of Yoshi, everybody has compared to a Velociraptor in Jurassic Park. But
And yet Yoshi technically came out first.
yeah,
In terms of publication date.
and he's cuter too.
Yeah.
I've never wanted to have my face eaten off by an adorable little dinosaur in my life.
For all we know, maybe Jurassic Park made some CGI models of a Velociraptor, then neatly like stole the file that had the CGI model and gave it to Hollywood Pictures, and then they used it.
Whoops.
And they came out with the movie first because they didn't need as many CGI models. But as far as publication date goes, yeah, Mario came out before Jurassic Park did. So
Show everybody the picture of Yoshi, by the way. We were taking some stills from this movie. Let's try to put those up for reference. Yeah, Yoshi.
Yoshi's really cute here, not gonna lie.
It's weird how adorable he actually is, because the thing is that think about Yoshi. First off, I was really concerned watching this movie for the first time. I was ready for Bob Hoskins to hop on the damn thing. Like ride him natural, like
I mean, look. If you could hop inside a cartoon car and then use, hold on, I have to use the American name. 6 bullets. This guy knows what I'm talking about. He had to use 6 bullets. I'm pretty sure like he could hop on Yoshi. Because after all, he is Dio the dinosaur.
Yoshi is adorable as hell.
Yeah, he is.
There you
go, guys. We made 2 JoJo references for the price of 1.
So do you want to talk about casting real quick? What first off, I say Bob Hoskins was probably the perfect casting for Mario. Despite the fact that he didn't like doing the movie, I think he was a great choice for that character. But there are some questionable casting choices in this movie. First off, Samantha Mathis, one of my first crushes. Very beautiful.
Hey.
Yeah, she's a crush of Daisy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, I was a little confused. Like, I was a little confused by like how like John Leguizamo did not have a mustache. Which in hindsight feels like a shame, because like retroactively, I did see Romeo plus Juliet, and like, have you seen his mustache when he played Tybalt? Like,
I saw that.
He looked good as Tybalt. Like he should have kept that. Well, again, retroactively, he should have had the Tybalt look when he was playing Luigi. But hey, it could be worse.
How old was John Leguizamo in this movie? Does anybody know this? Was he in like his 20s?
He was probably in his
20s.
But it could be worse. At least he's not the Violator from Spawn.
Oh,
oh man. Well, every time a demon fights, a demon gets his wings.
Demon gets his wings.
I don't think I ever really had bad like impression coming from John Leguizamo. I think he tried to do something different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like that's
Plus, he was still young, still getting his like acting legs.
See, that's the
Yeah.
thing about. I remember when I did a movie night with my friend. He's a lot younger. He's like 23, so he didn't even know this movie exists as like movie night. Tonight we're watching the live action Mario Brothers movie. He goes, the what now? I was just like, so we watched this movie. He by the end of the movie is just like, isn't Mario supposed to be getting the princess booty? Like it literally was Luigi the movie. It really didn't feel like Mario was getting any kind of recognition.
It's like I love how like much like in the new movie, Mario here is like is a pneumatic savant, but here like Luigi's the one who rushes head first into danger, while Mario's the prudent one. So it's like it's an interesting change of experience now that I've seen like both movies like with fresh eyes. But I'm not gonna lie though, like
you can compare this movie to the new one. You know, they kind of borrowed a lot of this movie for the new movie, which a lot of people. I feel like I saw those nuances like real quick. You know, the fact that they were driving a van as plumbers, competing with other plumbers. You know, they go into another world through a dimension. Like, I mean, this essentially is in the new movie. So
and they both make Kamen Rider references with their finishing move.
See you later,
plumber jump, plumber kick.
No, no. I want to say that also there has definitely been there's a behind the scenes like documentary on this Blu-ray. It talks about the filming process. Everybody had to go through health risks to make this movie because they built they built the whole city of what do they call it? The dystopian New York.
Dino
Hatton. They built that whole city in a concrete facility that had like I think the air levels were dangerous and toxic to some people. Like it wasn't a safe place to work. They didn't build a exterior set. They built the set within an already existing exterior. So they cut corners for this movie, and people were getting sick in this movie.
You know, I like to imagine that the movie Osmosis Jones took some elements from this movie when they designed the town of Frank.
Kind of.
It's all rancid and stuff. And you have like a single neuron. You have a single gray cell like controlling the rest of the body, making all these bad decisions. And then you got like the one dude who's like do you smell the what's that weird smell? That's the smell of change, Bobby. That's the smell of change.
This movie in general, the people involved with making it, Bob Hoskins apparently got into a verbal fight because they changed the script right when he was walking on set as Koopa. And he started cussing the director out. And everybody was just really taking themselves back by it. And then he improvised on a lot of this stuff. But I think Dennis Hopper had so much fun making this movie. It almost feels like he was just there to play a like over the top. Yes. A girl never forgets the first time she was kissed by a lizard.
In retrospect, I feel like Dorian took elements of Dennis Hopper in that scene in the mask where it's like you want to kiss?
Yeah, he's got that little like
I want to kiss the real Dorian, the one I fell in love with.
All right, everybody take a screenshot of Mike over here trying to tongue you in the screen.
Maybe
coming soon to an OnlyFans near you.
I would love to go like full Simmons from that episode of Family Guy where it's like all you gotta do is like scream real loud and go like this. Isn't that
his tongue's just traveling?
Or like Adam Sandler's brother and Little Nicky. What? No tongue?
Like what is like okay? So what is it about bad guys and tongues? Apparently, it's just like
Yeah, even what's his name? Even David Tennant did that in Harry Potter, which I promise you guys we will review like sometime later in the summer when Ryan gets back from like his work sabbatical. By which I mean his sabbatical is actually working. Um, but yeah, it's like and like even like like going to like our territory, Kamen Rider Ryuki, like you've got a Sakura always doing that whole tongue thing.
Yeah, it's one of the things
Next
about this movie.
You're going on, Chair Major.
Yeah,
one of
not
the
gonna
things
lie.
about this movie, by the way, is that it has been regarded as the worst video game adaptation. Do you guys agree with that? I think there's a lot worse. There's definitely
No, everything made by Uwe is a lot worse.
Okay. First of all, it's pretty easy to call it the worst adaptation when it's literally the first adaptation. But also in the same vein, you could also say it's the best video game adaptation because it's the first one ever made. But no, there's much worse. I mean, like if we're gonna look at American movies, Mortal Kombat Annihilation was pretty bad.
Oh Lord.
Yep.
Yeah. But if we're gonna talk about video game movies overall, there's a certain guy I'm not a fan of named Uwe Boll.
Oh
yeah,
Lord.
that guy.
Like it's like literally a real life version of the producers. By the way, yeah, we need to review. Like if we ever do Mel Brooks Part 2, we need to do the producers.
Yeah, I've heard people actually sit here and say that it's the worst video game movie because it throws away the source material. I'm actually going to believe that this actually follows the source material very well, especially since now even more. I will argue that even more considering, like I said, the new movie, which is being praised by many people, is literally borrowing the same type of stuff.
Plus,
Also considering we didn't have very many games back in '93. I mean, the most recent one was like Mario World, and that came out in 1990 in Japan.
and heck, the only line of dialogue we've ever had for Mario was "Your princess is in another castle. Thank you, Mario, for saving me. Here's a cake." Those are the only two lines of heck. Metroid 2 had more dialogue than that.
Yeah, I've always sat here and thought about what would it have been like for us to get a live action Sonic movie in the 90s. Oh,
Yeah.
It's funny. Thinking back to like the whole Mortal Kombat 2 thing. It's like I remember like someone actually did make a fan made live action Sonic the Hedgehog movie, and Doug Walker played one of the gun soldiers in that movie.
nostalgia was oh Lord.
And it's so weird. I mean, look, I'm gonna be real with you. Like in like the late 2000s, early 2010s, people made a lot of really cool fan made video game movie adaptations or trailers for potential ones. Like there was like for example, there was like a full live action Mega Man movie, completely fan made. Like it's full 90 minutes, and it was good. Like a fan made 90-minute Mega Man movie that was good. And then we had like a trailer for a live action Pac-Man movie. And the premise was it's actually pretty interesting. So basically it's kind of like Mega Man Battle Network, where it's like, like everyone's hooked up to the internet and stuff. So like Pac-Man is basically an antivirus program, but with an AI that gives him personality.
I gotta stop real quick because in my head, the only thing I was thinking of a guy was in like a yellow jumpsuit just doing this the whole time.
Okay. Actually, what's really creepy though? Someone actually made a first-person version of Pac-Man, and I'm gonna be real with you. Watching the gameplay footage, I'm like, that is some Slenderman vibes right there.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. No. This movie. Look, one of the things that I really wanted to see someone make out of this movie, and I really hope that one day someone can do this because the technology is there for someone to do it. We need to get like a 16-bit version of this movie in a video game.
We do.
You know what's funny? So, like, as I was like watching this movie today on a Russian VHS tape, Yes, that was the only way I could find. That's the only way I could find this movie.
I sent you a link.
I was busy. Like between that time you sent me the link to this weekend, and when I was like I didn't have time, So like the only way I was able to go is to find one of those mon pa Russian speaking videotape stores where like they have like actual VHS tapes from the 90s going as far back as 1950s. And let me tell you guys, watching a movie dubbed in Russian, never complain about your anime being dubbed in English, and here's why. Whenever like if a Russian movie gets dubbed into English on Netflix, just like this one that involves AI, it's kind of like Kamen Rider Zero One. It's like they like any other ADR work, they remove the original dialogue audio, they insert newly recorded dubbed over lines, so it looks like yes they're speaking in English. And the same technology was there when I was watching Power Rangers Samurai in Ukrainian and in Hebrew, because I've been to both my hometown and in Jerusalem, and watching my high school classmates talk in two different languages that he doesn't speak in real life is really trippy. But no, whenever Russia tries to dub over like stuff from other countries, whether it's Japanese or American, and believe me, I've watched Kamen Rider Geeks in Russian. They don't remove the original they don't remove the original audio. No, they just talk over it. So you have to try to listen to the Russian dialogue while the original English dialogue is in the background, or in the case of Kamen Rider, the original Japanese dialogue. So yeah, it's tough, but at least I saw the movie all the way through this weekend, so I can honestly talk about it with a clean set of mind.
A lot of these movies that are dubbed bad movies, by the way, because I just love watching bad movies, they tend to actually be very short, mercifully short.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like this movie, I don't know what to explain, like how to explain it. The movie has I don't know if it really has a pacing issue, or if it's really just because it is really hard to follow some of the things that happen in the movie. But like the whole reason why I even watch this movie, I'm gonna be honest with you, the reason why I like this movie is the art style and the look of the movie. It isn't about the story. It isn't about anything outside of the look of the film. It's just attractive to my eyes. I like to use the term bubblegum for the eyes, and that's if it attracts me in a way. I'm going to love it.
No,
Yeah, it did definitely have a lot of Blade Runner-esque appeal to it.
Yes, and that's the thing is a lot of people, and that movie was there. That Blade Runner movie was brought up a lot. I think one of the production designers actually did do the design for Blade Runner. I mean, that was, that would make sense. It was really weird having this like techno dystopian futuristic look happen in this movie, and there was something in this movie that made me laugh so much. In the same way, like the first episode of the original Ninja Turtles cartoon, there was the first thing that these main characters see is this sweet little innocent old lady offering help, and then she just decides to pull out a freaking gun on them.
I was like, I hate that I didn't have a screenshot of that, because like to me, like that is like one of the most memorable scenes to me, like watching it on VHS, because it's like that is like something you don't I mean, low key, like after having seen what's it called, The Purge, I can see that coming, but like in a 1993 movie, not so much. So
yeah,
she's talking in the most sweetest voice. Do you guys need any help? Do you know where you're going? Do you have anything on you? Good. Give me all your money.
It's like part of me, like the fact that she was being so nice to them, like noticing that these guys seem like they're not from around town. I almost thought they were gonna go with like a Invasion of the Body Snatchers type of thing going, where it's like where like she would be like, and then like everyone else like starts pointing and going.
And after she pulls out the gun, Babe Bertha just comes out and just tosses her over a bridge.
Yeah.
You know what I was imagining the whole time? I had dialogue dubbing over the scene. I was robbed by a sweet old lady in a motorized cart. I didn't even see it coming.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, like if that happened in a modern movie, like post 2016, like I could see that coming. But in a 1993 movie, no way, man. That is
Yeah.
some new territory. Like even like retroactively, it's like you have like all this you know how like you have all this modern CGI, like you're like so used to it. But then when you go back to watch the original 1977 Star Wars, it's like they're like the CGI is very outdated compared to what it is now. But somehow the effects still blow your mind in this 1977 movie.
This does the same thing. Like, I'm not even joking with you. You can barely tell what is CGI in this movie at some point.
It's like and honestly, I love the creativity they went into this. Like the whole like super jump thing. Like they have like all these boots and stuff, and like they have all these little bombs like walking around the street. It's like
Sponsored by Reebok.
Sponsored by Reebok.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and like you got all this crazy stuff happening. I would have to say the one thing I was not a fan of in this movie, like if I had to pick the one thing that irked me the most, is literally the devolution machine because that Italian, like that rival plumbing dude turned into a chimpanzee and like, you know,
Monkey.
speaking monkey. Okay. The line with Dennis Hopper saying that, funny. I'm not gonna deny that. But the whole human turning into chimpanzee thing, like that kind of like bothers me because of the whole like that's not how taxonomy works. But again, like if you've ever seen that dorkly video of the Bulbasaur trying to evolve, then like, well, when you know, you know.
Well, the one thing that bothered me with this movie, of course, kind of does also involve the same scene as Toad.
Yeah,
and him
Toad,
being turned
yes.
into a damn Goomba.
Yeah.
That's how
Goomba!
mother can love.
Okay, I'm gonna reveal it. Like, if I could Jim Cornette that sequence, you know what I would say? Like, I would say that, like, you know how like you have these reptilians who like evolved into humans, kind of like how Japanese Spider-Man evolved from spiders. Well, like basically, like, what if like you have like a co-evolved society where you have like these sentient fungi who also evolved into a humanoid form. Then when they devolve Toad back into whatever this is, they would have like justification to make him look more like a mushroom and less like whatever it is I'm looking at right now.
This could be turned into a meme in general. These nuts.
Yeah.
It's like me reacting to this movie.
Yeah, me reacting to this.
Yep. Also, Neil, like Mojo Nixon, the guy who played Toad in his human form, actually does like play music on a YouTube channel.
All right, big shocker here. Do you know who made the noises for the Goombas in this movie?
Oh, wait.
Frank Welker?
Jim Cummings.
Jim Cummings.
Jim Cummings?
I'm pretty sure.
Winnie the Pooh.
No, because I know Frank Welker did Yoshi and the Goombas.
I'm pretty sure I thought that Jim Cummings did the. Maybe it was Frank Welker.
Yeah, it was Frank Welker, and the narrator was Dan Castellaneta.
Homer Simpson.
Yeah. You know, okay, I'm not gonna lie though. Like one of my favorite lines from a filler episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge was like when Mokuba says, "Hey, look, we're in Agrabah. Let's find Genie, who's voiced by Robin Williams and sometimes by Dan Castellaneta."
I gotta look. Yeah, I gotta look and see who did the voices real quick because that swear. It also amazes me that Aunt Petunia was the girlfriend to Koopa in this movie from Harry Potter. That was Aunt Petunia.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Fiona Shaw.
That would explain the Karen vibes.
You guys are right. Frank Welker was Yoshi and the Goombas, but I swear I thought Jim Cummings was in this somehow.
Yeah, see, like you would think that because
I was hearing Pete the whole time in the Goombas, and that was Jim Cummings.
Because Jim Cummings did do a lot of voice work for projects such as this. It just so happens that it's projects like this, not this project. You know, like that scene from In-Betweeners where it's like, where it's like, Oh, Simon, you're so sweet. I wish I could date a guy like you. No, wait. Sorry, Will. Oh, Will, you're so sweet. I wish I could date a guy like you. Well, you could date me. No, silly, a guy like you. So like that's basically Jim Cummings. It's like, oh yeah, I do movies like this, not this movie, just movies like this.
Yep.
Man, I gotta rewatch
Yeah, it just well now that just surprises me now because I kept telling myself I actually have Frank Welker's autograph, so cool. I've got Yoshi and the Goomba's voice actor. Lovely.
Yeah.
But and Frank Welker is like, along with Jim Cummings, actually has done a lot of creature voices. I did not know that Frank Welker also did like the creature voices for the Godzilla '98 movie, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But this movie, crazy. I mean, you guys have anything to add?
I'll say this: Koopa was definitely more palatable after having, if you watch this movie after watching Speed, because aside from it being my favorite movie of all time, Dennis Hopper, threatening villain. Now he's got dinosaur powers.
Right?
Yeah. It's like it's like the Mario equivalent of that scene from The Mask where Dorian gets the mask of Loki, where it's like except instead of Dorian, it's Howard Payne from Speed. It's like, pop quiz, plumber. What?
Some of my favorite lines in this movie are like the most quotable. Plumber alert.
Yes.
Or just like, are you telling me I'm going to get arrested for being a plumber? Like, it was just things like that. It just made me laugh.
You know what I love about Mud? It's clean and it's dirty at the same time.
It's like the things that are said in this movie just thrown in there. Dennis Hopper's most funny bit, apparently, I'm going to bring up actually. There's an added scene to it. Remember the pizza bit? Where's my pizza?
Yes.
There is actually a scene that was cut out of the movie that's in the extended work print where the pizza guy ends up actually running over Koopa's goo at the end, and he's like, "Here's your pizza," throws it out the window.
That's like that scene from Bullet Train when Lemon like runs that girl over with the tangerine truck.
I gotta find that now to show it.
Take that, Diesel. By the way, we should
keep talking, guys. I'm gonna find this.
By the way, we should also review Bullet Train because it did have Yoshi Sudarso.
Right.
Yes.
And surprisingly, like he did play a much more important character than what I'm used to seeing him cast as. So it's props to you, Yoshi. We love you.
All right, here it is, right here. This is that scene, and I know you guys haven't seen this, so this is gonna be fun. Okay. Eat this. Just dries off. Yeah, that was
nice.
He finally got his pizza.
So like we should have a poll, like who had the lamest death between Dennis Hopper in this movie, Yoshikage Kira in JoJo Part 4, or what's his name? God, I'm blanking on his name. Ricardo Montalbano from Naked Gun.
Yeah.
Comparison.
Because like all three of them get run over in humiliating ways, and so
I just first off, I think that should have been left in with him just driving over his like gooey.
It should have, yeah.
Throwing the pizza, that would have added to that joke. So
actually,
yes.
Actually, the only thing that would make it even funnier is if Christopher Lloyd like showed up from out of nowhere. It's like, sorry, nothing to see here. Just like cleaning the streets, and then like he has like he has like turpentine street cleaner. Because Bob Hoskins. Nothing to see here. Yeah, it's fun.
There were some things in this movie. I also need to ask you, what did you guys think of Iggy and Spike? Because I kept looking, it's like every movie in that time was like Vulcan Skull, Iggy and Spike, everything. It just reminded me of Bulk and Skull from Power Rangers.
Yo, I just realized Skull's son's name is Spike. Do you think that's a reference to that?
I don't know.
Who knows?
But
I'm hurting my head.
but I'll say this though. I'm not gonna lie, one of the two actors, I swear for a hot minute I thought one of them was Rob Schneider. I'm like, wait, Rob Schneider's in this movie? That's weird.
You mean Fisher Stevens, the guy who played Iggy?
Yeah, he low-key, like in one scene he low-key looked like Rob Schneider. I'm like, I mean, I know he was in Judge Dredd, but
I think Rob Schneider was too busy filming Surf Ninjas at the time.
That's fair. Man, we gotta do Surf Ninjas and Three Ninjas back to back.
Yep.
So, do you guys have any kind of final thoughts on the movie? I really don't know what else to add to this. This movie is just, like I said, made a huge, impact on people who are nostalgic about it. It has outlived its, its fate and has become something completely different. It has evolved into a completely different type of movie.
Just like It's a Wonderful Life, Christmas Story, and The Room.
Yeah, I have to say, it's despite all the huge mess that went on behind the scenes, I mean, it's still an enjoyable watch.
You'd be surprised. Like, you might be surprised nowadays, but when it first came out, It's a Wonderful Life was actually very poorly received. It had terrible box office numbers. And I don't think it had really good. I don't think it had like good critic scores back then, because like I know Siskel and Ebert weren't a thing at the time.
Well, we didn't have tomatoes to tell us what to think anymore.
But
same thing what happened with 1971 Willy Wonka. That caught up to like VHS sale.
Right. Yeah.
I really do want to add that the best way I can review this movie for you guys, it's the movie you will love to hate. Like
yes.
It's essentially that. It is a bad movie, and there is a comment down here I want to respond to. If you want to get into like the comment section part, they say just to see how bizarre it is compared to the relatively safe 2023 movie. Apples and oranges, man. It really is.
Apples and oranges,
if you're gonna want to watch a movie that is like completely derived from any kind of color and has nothing to do with the beautiful look of Mushroom Kingdom, go watch the 1993 movie.
It's like trying to compare Indiana Jones 2 with Indiana Jones 4 to see which one's better / worse than the other. And the thing is, it's like they both have two different kinds of flaws and two different kinds of merits. And the question is, do you want the one that's safe and mediocre, or do you want the one that's more out there but was more poorly received?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you've got to really also appreciate someone's art and contribution to something, even though it was terrible. That's why I keep talking about, first off, I know this is a movie that isn't comparable in so many ways. The Inspector Gadget movie has been regarded as a bad movie to a lot of people, but I love the look of that movie too. I love the art style, and the late Stan Winston contributed to the look of that movie.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite in the VHS collection of mine.
When it comes to movies, it's not just about the story. It's not like, I feel like there is a point system. The production, the value and the look of the movie actually adds a lot to whether or not a movie is appealing. I can enjoy a bad movie if something looks good to me. As I've stated before, none of the movies that I sit there and hold in. I mean, I have an Inspector Gadget giant 72-foot banner behind me. Okay, like I'm not going to sit there and also say it's a good movie. But I love like the things that I grew up with, and then I also love to sit there and riff on them and talk about how bad they are.
Yeah, see, that's why like I always have to explain my my rating scale because like sometimes people, especially Leonard, are always confused. Like, why am I giving this higher score to this quote unquote worse movie while giving a lower score to this quote unquote better movie? And the thing is, it's like, because my rating system is different from your rating systems, and my rating system, I factor in a lot of different things like production, writing, acting, SFX, VFX, what's it called, musical score, the overall experience of watching it. Like, how often could I enjoy? How many times I could watch the movie without getting sick of it? Like,
By
that's
the
why.
way, by the way, speaking of musical scores, I'm sorry to say this one gets a negative point system because the whole movie is nothing but.
What? And you'd expect more from Alan Silvestri, who did Back to the Future.
Like that's all that movie was.
Yeah, and yeah, so it's like, there's a reason why, like, I would give like a movie, a well-received movie like Titanic, a lower score of like 7 or 8, while giving a movie like The Room a 9, because the Room was a bad movie, but did I
It's
enjoy watching it? And the thing is, I could always speculate so much about it, like, and like, there's like, because it's like there's more to a movie than just the individual parts. It's the overall experience of the movie itself, and that's why I take to my grave that I honestly like enjoyed watching Morbius more than, or rather, I disliked Morbius less than the Batman, because the Batman was boring. At least the first half of Morbius was entertaining.
I disagree.
You're welcome to disagree. I have no problem with that.
But listen, we're not
saying,
debating about those two movies.
No, we're not. But I'm just saying, like, there's nothing wrong with enjoying this movie because it has its own unique charms that are worth giving it a look back once in a while. Not like regularly, not like on a monthly basis like The Room, but like every once in a while, just to see like how different things were, to appreciate the pocket dimension of human zeitgeist.
Do you want me to kind of? I want to counteract something real quick because I've got to end this soon. I've been getting phone calls like crazy, but I want to tell you that if it was in a different situation, you grew up in a different time, Mike. Say you were maybe like 10 years old in the year 2009. Would you feel the same way about this movie now, considering now there are tons of people apparently looking back on this movie that were children when this came out, and they look back fondly on it?
Really, I have no. That's actually a valid question because like this is actually a thing about like Star Wars Episode 1 where it's like in 1999 everyone loved it, 2002 everyone hated it, but then like in 2017 everyone loves it again, and I'm like, well, except for the Jar Jar parts obviously, but everything else they love about it. I'm be honest, like, despite its flaws, Star Wars Episode 1, I liked the pod race scene, and I liked the like everything about Qui-Gon Jinn. He was like an amazing, underrated character. And like I remember, like I was actually talking to a bouncer at one point, and like this was back when there was like only 6 Star Wars movies. And like I told him that Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, was my least favorite of the 6 movies. But here's the thing: it did some good stuff that you cannot deny. And he's like, you know what? Maybe you should leave because that isn't an unwelcome opinion. I'm like, wait, hear me out. You got Obi-Wan Kenobi using all that sass. You got the fight scene on Kamino, which was epic. Because, like, this is the fight scene against Boba Fett that we've always wanted to see but never got. And on the subject matter of Boba, we got more Boba screen time in this one movie than we did in the entire original trilogy. It's like, okay, you could come back inside. You make a fair point.
I'm going to be honest with you, though, but with all those fair points, there is still a 2-hour, like, love story that goes nowhere.
I never liked that. I still stand by, of the original 6 movies, it is my least favorite. But it wasn't all terrible. It was bad. It wasn't all terrible. And that's just the point I'm trying to make,
Yeah. I mean, it just... With this movie, it is... we can enjoy it for what it is. It's been 30 years. I think it's forgiven.
Yeah. So, like, I would give this movie a 7 out of 10 because it's like it has a lot of problems, but if I had access to it, I would occasionally pop that sucker in.
I would probably give it lower than that. I'm not not because I'm not trying to hate this movie, because I don't hate this movie. There are movies I hate a lot more. But I feel like that the arguments that people have about it being a bad movie are valid. That there are some things that I agree with and some that I don't disagree, or that I don't agree with. But I think, again, that the point system is, I would probably end up giving it like maybe a 4.5 out of 5. You know?
Wait, 4.5 out of 5. That's a 9 out of 10.
No, I mean, I'm sorry, 4.5, 5 out of 10. That's what I meant.
Oh, 4.5 to 5.
Yes, yeah, that's what I meant. But like, just like the look of the movie, the Bob Hoskins is so lovable in this film. Dennis Hopper and his crazy like acting and the way he was in this, I think that there's so much more value in the movie just through the look and how the characters are played versus how the story was told.
Plus, I like the dance sequence with Bertha.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I didn't want to see Mario getting frisky on the dance floor, man.
No, but to be fair, Big Bertha crawled so that what's her name, Lizzo could fly.
Okay. I mean, like what is this guy talking about? What is this Tommy guy? Oh my god. All right.
Okay. Miguel, why don't you give us your score and then we'll go off into the comments.
My score, I'd probably give it like around 5.5 to maybe a 6 out of 10. I mean, again, yeah, considering all the production stuff that happened behind the scenes, yeah, it was a mess, but overall it was like a visual treat. I mean, yeah, the lines were corny, but Dennis Hopper offered some really like cheesy dialogue that's you still quote to this day. And I actually did like some of the like when they were playing Walk the Dinosaur in the club. That was pretty awesome. So yeah, around a 6 out of 10.
Nice. So, ladies and gentlemen of the audience, please let us know what you thought in the comments. If you comment to us while we're doing this live, we'll read as many comments as we can down here. And here we go. First, we got Lex Zitro saying, "Let's go." Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go. Yahoo!
Yeah. Tommy Dionathau says the 1993 Mario movie. Finally, yes. Finally, we're doing a review of this. And honestly, like, I don't know how many other like people on YouTube or Facebook or other platforms have reviewed this movie, but it's fun watching like different perspectives on the same movie. So like that's good. Let's see. Just keeping it real. Yeah, it's live action, so it is what it is. This is the only Mario movie my eyes. Hey, some of us are really passionate about our cult classics. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, for me, like the only what's it called? The original cartoon version of the Grinch is the only Grinch for me. But I also acknowledge that the other two exist.
There were two.
Honestly, I think I would have appreciated, like the thing about like the newer one with the Illumination pictures, I felt more bad for the Grinch than anything because he's like trying to like live peacefully and everyone's like shoving Christmas into his face, like they're missionaries.
Oh man, it's like Christmas with the Cranks, but with the Grinch and the
yeah, exactly. It's like Christmas with the Cranks, but more animated. Yeah. I still can't believe that Jamie Lee Curtis was in that movie. Okay, let's see. I never saw the 1993 movie, but I'm interested now. Yeah, it's like, definitely check it out. You go like for any movie, you got to experience it at least once to to get like a real taste for it, and then in repeat watches, maybe you might notice things you did before. Your score might go up or down. I mean, like honestly, I was kind of like. Yeah, kind of like Titanic, but then I lost interest. Oh, there's some movies where I didn't like it first, but I liked them more over time. Imagine Bob Hoskins writing that. Oh my god. I think it's about Yoshi.
Yeah, poor Yoshi. I've never understood why an Italian plumber can actually sit on it. I'm just thinking about that scene from that horrible movie Jack and Jill where the horse's legs end up like just out.
Yeah.
Bad.
I mean, hell, Like if you play Majora's Mask, it won't let you ride Apple now if you're anything other than regular Link.
Mm-hmm. So Shoddy writes, what a nerdy hell did I just walk into? Well, you walked into our discussion of the 1993 Super Mario Brothers movie, and I hope on behalf of these guys and the rest of the Buttery Show and growing up in the 90s that you are enjoying us discuss this movie.
Yeah, growing up in the 90s is pretty nerdy. For what kind of thing it represents, it's about nerdy things.
Yeah. And last comment of the evening, Danielle Labella or Labella. I don't know if that's Italian or Spanish. Maybe it's for Italian. See, I did a Dunkin' Donuts joke. Give us money, Dunkin' Donuts. I'm just kidding. Okay.
You know we're allegiant to Krispy Kreme because of what they did with Power Rangers, okay?
Yeah,
Shut up.
You know what's funny? Last time I was at Ron Roge's house, like he actually had like 24 Power Ranger donuts. So I actually
preserved in resin.
Yeah. So I actually did try the Black Ranger one back in the day. I think it was like 20. Yeah, it was like during the 20s. No, it was
2017.
Yeah. It was 20. Yeah, it was the 2017 Academy Awards when it happened. I was like, but the movie came out in March. But no, it's like they probably made the donuts ahead of time. But you know,
those donuts, by the way, beautiful Bavarian cream, loved them. That's why.
Oh yeah. No. You know who else liked the Bavarian cream filling? Adam Sandler from 8 Crazy Nights.
Okay.
Is that Bavarian cream filling? It is Bavarian cream filling. And then he has a seizure. I have that movie on VHS. I there was a hot minute where I watched it every night for 8 days every year.
By the way, I do agree that this is a beautiful film. I think it has a very underrated production value. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I actually love a lot of the creative choices they made, like with the mushrooms and the bob-ombs. I mean, I'm not too fan of the Goombas, but I like some of the other things they did stylistically, and I love
we ain't got super, but we gotta deal with the evil King Koopa. Yeah.
Well, that's it for that's it for our review of the 1993 Super Mario Brothers movie. We're gonna finish off Video Game Month with the brand new 2023. Yes, 30 years later. Super Mario Brothers movie featuring the one and only, the beautiful sounding Mr. Jack Black.
Peaches, 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 peaches. All right, hey, real quick.
I love you, yeah.
We're duetting? Why didn't you tell me? No. First off, for those of you guys on the Growing Up in the 90s page, we will not be doing that video here, but if you guys are interested in them doing or their video when they do it, talking about the new Mario movie, you guys got to go over to the Buttery Show on YouTube. Feel free to do that.
Yep. And of course, if you enjoyed watching this review, be sure to comment, like, and subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. This is the Buttery Show. And if you're watching it off of Facebook, very likely you're also watching this off of the Growing Up in the 90s channel. So if you happen to come across this video through your random Facebook feeds, be sure to give Growing Up in the 90s a like or follow as well. We do movie reviews and video game news. Obviously we're doing Video Game Month, so we've done Detective Pikachu, Sonic 1 and 2, and the next movie we're doing is the new Mario movie. The month before that, we did Hollywood Anime Month, so be sure to check that out. We got movies as bad as Dragon Ball Evolution to movies as good as Speed Racer. So be sure to check those out. Ding the bell icon on our YouTube channel to stay notified on our latest video. Also, check out our sister channel, the Morphin Network, where it's Morphin time all the time, where we do reviews of Kamen Rider Geeks and Osama Sentai King Oger on Tuesdays and Thursdays, respectively, at 7:15 p.m. Pacific, 10:15 Eastern. And, as soon as Netflix releases that new season, we will be doing Cosmic Fury. So So don't worry about that. We'll get you covered for that. And we also have recent interviews from Power Morphicon from last year. We have John Tui, who was in Hobbs and Shaw, as well as 2 seasons of Power Rangers. And we also have Wally Wingard, one of this guy's new best friends.
I went to his house and I went to a Chinese restaurant. He has one of the most beautiful Andy Kaufman collections ever. When I went to his house, I fell on the floor.
Yeah. And one of these days we really should do Man on the Moon as well. And I definitely want Cody to be involved in that.
I'm going to. That's okay. Coming soon, a 6-hour tell-all, Man on the Moon, from your man, the obsessed weirdo.
I mean, look, it is one of my most favorite REM songs. So, I have to review that movie. So.
Oh yeah, and we got to talk about the little documentary they did on Netflix about the making of that movie. But
yeah, and of course you can check out our personal content. So, Miguel, where can the people find you?
You can find me over on Instagram at that blue dinosaur guy.
And Cody, our main man, our banner man himself, where can they find you?
I am over at Cody House on YouTube. I also have an Instagram called Badass. Autistic person. And then also growing up in the 90s, actually next week, my birthday weekend on Saturday, I'm going to Colorado to do a bunch of fun stuff for you guys on the YouTube channel at Cody's House of Geek. And we just broke 5,000 subscribers, so you guys stay tuned for that.
Yeah, no, I loved being that video with you when we were reviewing those chicharrones and that weird Coca-Cola flavor before Morphicon.
Oh, the dream flavor?
Yeah, the dream
Is that
flavor.
what that's? Oh God.
Man, it's like these. It's those cola flavors get worse every time. It's like making a deal with Darth Vader. Now you're gonna put on this pink dress and call yourself Mary.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I've had something much worse than then. Do not drink the Pete's Pepsi.
Oh yeah, no, don't. I mean, what's lit though? DNL.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
And of course, you could find me on Instagram at Boken_Kabuto and on Twitch at twitch.tv/BokenKabuto. With all that said, guys, we hope that you had a wonderful Father's Day weekend, and we hope that you have a safe rest of your week. Obviously, we're going to do Super Mario Brothers this upcoming weekend. Not this Super Mario Brothers, because we just finished it. The other Super Mario Brothers.
The one that people consider the best.
Yes, or worst. One of those two things.
There's a duality for everything.
There is.
It's like there's no middling because there's only 2.
Can we just get along?
3. Well, there's the anime movie from '86, but yeah.
Then we also have, the Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
Yeah, we should do a retrospective.
Come on, Hosannas!
Yeah, like that. That's actually how I, every time I watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge, that I'm always reminded that we're I think it was episode 24 or 26, where it's like, "Hi, paisanos, it's the Super Yu-Gi-Oh! Brothers Super Show."
Mm-hmm.
With all that said, guys, be sure to stay safe, stay hydrated, update your emergency kits, wear weather appropriate attire because up here it is hot. Yes, it's a Billion Man U reference. Enjoy your summer solstice because that's coming up this Wednesday as of the time of this recording. And days are getting longer, days are getting shorter, sunrise, sunset, it is what it is. Hug your loved ones, and until next time, we'll see you guys real soon. Peace out.